Hey guys, in a previous video I showed you how to remove the starter from a 2002 Honda Civic. In this video I'm going to show you how to disassemble the starter if you want to replace individual parts, or in my case just kind of see what's going on and clean it out a bit. So to do this you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, you need a 12mm socket and ratchet, and you're also going to need an 8mm socket or ratchet, which I don't have, but this 5/16 fits perfectly on it. I believe these are 8mm anyway, but 5/16 works. So to start off, we're going to remove these two bolts. So I'll go ahead and remove them. All right, so I removed those two bolts, and next we're going to remove this 12mm nut off and pop this connector piece off. All right, this nut's really stuck on here, so I'm going to spray some liquid wrench on it and let it sit for a while and see if I can pop it off. All right, so after putting some liquid wrench and letting it sit for 10 minutes, I got it off. So now we could pull off the actual starter assembly, I guess you can call it. So I'll go ahead and remove that. All right, now that we have that removed, there's going to be 3 Phillips head screws we're going to go ahead and remove, and we can open up the starting case. So I'll go ahead and remove those 3 bolts. All right, so these bolts are also really stuck in there and I don't want to strip them, so I'm going to spray some liquid wrench on these and let it sit for a little bit. All right, guys, I really had a fight with those bolts to get them off. I stripped them pretty bad. I was trying to use a flathead. Eventually, to break them free, I had to really give it a lot of manpower with my channel locks, but I got them off. So now that they're off, we can go ahead and pull the housing apart. This is our starter gear, and this is the starter solenoid. So how your starter works is when you put power to the engine, the starter motor will engage, the starter solenoid will engage, which will push this little tab up, which will push this in, which will actually engage it to the engine. So you can go ahead and further disassemble it by removing the solenoid. There's 3 screws on there, so I'll go ahead and remove those and show you the solenoid. Alright, so I removed the 3 screws from the solenoid, which thankfully weren't on very tight. And this is a solenoid. This is usually what goes wrong in the starter. If it's not starting and you got to bang on it, it's usually the solenoid's fault why it's not starting, because this isn't engaging. So this is usually what you'll want to replace. It's the cheapest option. Depending on the make and model, you get it for anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks. And how it works is there's this little arm here, and the starter solenoid will be hooked up to this little arm. I can't really show it, but it's hooked up to this arm, and the solenoid will depress in, which will push this arm up, which will engage that, and that will start your car. So if the solenoid's going bad, it won't start. You'll just hear a click and nothing will happen. So we can go ahead and disassemble the motor too. So I'll go ahead and remove these 2 bolts, and I'll show you the coils, which also wear down over time. So when you remove those 2 bolts, you could pop this cover off. It's kind of magnetic, so it'll be hard to really pull off. And then we could pull all this out, which I'll do next. Now that's also magnetic, so it's going to be hard to pull out. But as you can tell, that's all wear from the starter motor. So what wears down is these actual little things here. These actually seem like they're in really good condition. Someone might have actually replaced them, considering the car has 130,000 miles on it. You'd expect more wear from that. But these will also wear down over time, causing issues with the starter. You could buy this online, around 20 bucks. You could get a whole starter assembly, of course, for maybe like 70 bucks and skip all these steps. But if you're trying to save a little money and you're on a budget, you can go ahead and take it apart like I did. So I'm going to clean everything out, re-lube everything up, and hopefully that will fix the issue with my starter lately. So I'll go ahead and clean everything up, and I'll show you how to reassemble this.